All right, we are recording. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this first ever edition on the 3-day session podcast. If you have not plugged in or have not known what's been going on, I've been doing 2-day sessions of the podcast for the past week or two now. And now we're going to kick it up to another year. I'm going to do 3-day session with 3 different days. And the first day is going to be with an amazing person who I've known from Deafy's Open Air. He's been a good friend of mine for a few years now, I could say. I don't know how many years, so we're not going to go through there because we probably will not remember. No, it's been an absolute pleasure to have this guy on here. We have discussed about it, and you know, it's the right time to do this. I definitely want to get another few more members from the same band I'm going to introduce on the podcast, but obviously circumstances, the timing is all that needs to be working. So this little good guy has stepped in and was like, I'll do it, and I was really pleased. So this guy right here is Mr. Ricky Nunez. He's from Cerebral Incubation, and he's the drummer from the band. Ricky, it's great to have you on the podcast, my man. How are you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I am not too bad. I am tired, but I have got to keep going through with this whole podcast and just to make this happen,
Yeah, man, for sure. I'm down. Thanks for having me, dude.
Man, it's an absolute pleasure. Like, Cerebral Implications was one of my to-do lists, and it's definitely there. So I definitely want to get the rest of you boys on there, and it will be a huge thing for me, especially with the scenery that you guys got in America and in LA specifically, which we were going to cover that in a moment. So let's just start with the basic question. What's been going on with you lately, and how's this whole situation going with you with this coronavirus in America? Because I know it's been an absolute fucking nightmare with Trump being the president and everything.
Yeah, it's a little overwhelming sometimes. I'm still actually working through since it started. Just like I was telling you, man, taking it day by day. It's really out of my control, so I can't really do too much with it, but just take as much precaution as I can. Wash your hands, gloves, wear a mask. I mean, you can only do so much, so just try to stay on top of it, try to be safe.
Yeah, absolutely. I know there's the same restrictions for us. Like, I've been told we have to wash our hands and we have to make sure we stay hygienic. We have to be sure the surfaces that people do touch, we need to clean it and make sure it's all bacterial and infections are gone.
Yeah.
But we have an option where we can wear masks if we want to, but there's been a little research where wearing a mask is definitely not healthy. But I'm not going over that border. I don't know what the main results are exactly because I'm not a doctor. The ones that are actually working their lives and giving their lives is actually the doctors themselves, and they're the ones that can give us the full expert advice. But per se, it's really difficult situation for all of us, especially when we have lost our loved ones and we've lost some good friends as well. And major condolences to every one of you that have lost your friends and family. They will definitely be missed, and they have my blessings to keep pushing on with their lives, even if the circumstances are not fantastic. But yeah, back to America scenario, I have keep an eye on the news with Trump mentioning about a few things, and obviously he's criticizing China and the whole World Health Organization. I think Trump is really digging in his own grave, but that's my own opinion, and especially with him being a president, it's not really a good reputation to have, in my honest opinion,
Yeah.
But yeah, I've also just seen the latest news about Los Angeles has just had an absolute catastrophe, and yet this whole pandemic is another thing on top of the layer of the shit cake, So,
yeah, I think they extended the quarantine or whatever for like another 3 months or something in LA. In Las Vegas, they just started slowly opening up like restaurants and smaller businesses and stuff like that. But we had a mayor talk about the other week. She wants to open up the entire strip, which is a very dumb thing to do.
Yeah.
It's like it just started. Yeah, it just started, and people just want to rush back to go do stupid shit. So.
Unfortunately, this is the problem where, like, we can see the whole bigger picture where these corporations and these big business people are actually relying on the economic system than people's health, and people's health should matter more than just the economy and whatever. I understand the economy is an absolute shit cake. I'm not going to make an excuse out of it. Definitely, it needs to be back to normal, but the circumstances, it just shows that it's something that should not be ignored. And I know for a fact, I've been keeping on the media where there's a lot of Americans protesting about this. It's all fake and it's not real. They're just ignoring this whole advice and what the situation, like, it's just like it's nothing. And the thing was, the ironic thing was, there's been many people going to Walmart and actually picking the largest bundle of toilet paper as they can find. And it's just like,
oh yeah, dude.
It's just like, it doesn't make any sense. You guys were panicking and whatnot, and now you're making a protesting. It's
it's a big shit show over here, dude. I mean, it's the excessive hoarding of toilet paper and water is a little out of hand, but like I said, dude, people are just not used to. I mean, how do you get used to this? This is something that just hit us, and people can't. You could tell people are overwhelmed, so they want to get back to normal. But,
of course.
Like we were saying,
everyone needs to get back to normal. I understand that, and we all want to see our friends and families and go back to work as normal. And it's never going to happen at this moment, because there's people outside of this world, out of our minds. They're just ignoring the situation. And there's a housing association place where I'm living. There's 31 studios or rooms for every residence, and basically there's people outside right now just shouting and screaming, just messing around like it's nothing,
like partying and shit.
And it's just an absolute disgraceful, and I'm one of the folks that are just actually getting exposed and don't want to see that. But I just got a letter from the landlord, the office manager, basically, if they are breaching the rules while this whole situation is still continuing, the office management have the rights to give them a notice, and they have to leave the building. They can't they can't stay. So it's just basically, keep breaking the rules, then you're going to be gone. So I'd rather have them break the rules and they can fuck off, in my opinion, because they got no respect for anyone but themselves,
Yeah, it just takes one person to affect everybody, dude.
Exactly.
It's a domino effect from there.
Yeah, so, exactly. But this is the thing.
That might seem a little harsh. Yeah, it might seem a little harsh to some people, but he's taking precautions to make sure their negligence doesn't affect everybody else, pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, there's been most of a handful of us folks that actually stay inside. Most of us do, but there's just an odd group that just wants to go out, and I can completely understand that reason why, but it just doesn't make it doesn't make good on them, and it's just how long it's going to be this for, nobody knows, and this is the problem. Like you just mentioned, no one can predict on how long this is going to be, and that's the problem.
Yeah, it's people need to calm the fuck down and stay home. So
I mean, God bless my grandparents, because they've been staying at home ever since this whole thing breached. Like, it's been 2 to 3 months now, and it's just like they want to go out more than anything in the world, but they can't. They stay in their home just to protect everybody's lives and then their own. So it's like, I love them to bits, and I know it's really hard for them, and it's hard for everybody who is actually staying inside and they've got nothing to do.
Yeah.
Especially when they've been furrowed, for example, and they got to take that cut. But unfortunately, this whole circumstances is not gonna go anytime soon.
Yeah, it's not, dude. We're just gonna have to, just like you said, take it day by day. Just wait, see, try to be as safe as you can, and trying to be as mindful as you can around other people and yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's about it, dude.
Yeah, precisely. Right, I think that little shit negativity stuff is out of the way. So let's go to the good things, because this is what the main thing is all about. It's about music. It's about my podcast is always about supporting the underground scenery. It's all about supporting the underground bands. It's about giving people the opportunity to have like the voice about, you know, the history of the band, the touring and music wise, and, you know, recommendations and so forth. So how do you become a drummer for Cerebral Implication? That's going to be the first question.
Incubation.
Okay, my pronunciation is not
I think you
fantastic.
said incompletion. It's okay. It's okay.
Incubation. There we go.
Yeah. Cerebral hemorrhage. Just call us that. Yeah. Shit, man. I started playing drums when I was around, let's say, 14, 15. My aunt used to go out with this guy. He was a drummer, and we go to his house, and every time we'd have a party, he would just start playing on a kit. And one day he just said, "Hey, you want to try these out?" And I did, and I got an itch for it. I actually wanted to be a guitar player first, but I failed miserably at that. I think I saw I think I watched what was it, Blind from Korn or something when I was like in 7th grade, 6th grade. I was like, I want to do that, and then it was fucking hard as fuck, so I said, fuck that. So. But yeah, I just after that and hanging out with my ex-boyfriend playing the drums, I kind of got an itch for it, and then just start woodshedding the shit, dude. Start practicing. You start finding different kinds of bands. Start off like the earlier like punk bands like Misfits, and try to play half of a Misfits song as much as I could, and then gradually you get better and better, and you end up finding everybody, and you start your band.
I suppose that's where you found like Mark and Andrew, just by, for example, was it because the same music taste you guys had and you just met each other like in high school, or was it just like out of coincidence where you did a cover, for example, and they just found you?
Well, we had actually, we had a different lineup change as far as to where it is now. I met Mark. I used to see like Mark's old punk band when he was younger play around, and I actually met him through my sister, and me and him started jamming. And then the original lineup, it was myself, Mark, Vince was the original singer on the first album, Asphyxiating on Excrement, Ben, and then Bruno was on rhythm guitar, who's actually playing bass and guitar right now. So we were a 5-piece at one point.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. And then, we switched out a couple members. We met Andrew through the recording of the first album, which he knew Randall from Gonorrhea Secrete, and we just hit it off. And he had really good vocals. He's a really good dude.
Oh, yeah. I love Andrew's vocals. It's just like, it's got a mixture of definitely a caveman vocals, and you got to love that. You got to love that variety, and it's definitely, if you're gonna do like a caveman slammy with death metal slammy band, it's always good to have stuff like that.
Yeah, he's a really good singer,
and he's a good person to mix around with when it comes to alcohol as well. Definitely.
He's very enabling. Yeah.
I already had my story with him, and I probably might as well just share it with you because you definitely was not there when this happened.
Was it the UK story?
No. That would have been different, but I can't remember that one. But it was back in Death Feast, and
okay.
But basically, I don't know where you was. You probably was with some other people. It was myself, Andrew, Asterio. Mark was not there. Mark was probably sleeping or something, I don't know. Or he was with you. So there was 3 of us, and there was the bassist, I think it's the bassist or the guitarist for Slamination. And I think it's Raina. I think that's her name is. I can't remember. And basically, we just had a couple of drinks. Andrew decided to try and give me tequila or try and give me something like Malibu. And it was not a great idea because I didn't want any of that shit. Then basically, myself and Andrew went to go walk somewhere. I think it was probably to the pub. And there was some guy with like a toy keyboard playing the Star Wars theme in the bar.
I remember that.
Yeah, that one. And literally, Andrew was just like, "Oh, fuck yeah!" I started dancing and everything, and I recorded that shit. And that was a picture moment to just enjoy people and around you, and it was just like a big example that there's a lot of people in the underground scenery that are an absolute gem. A lot of people are an absolute blessing to mix with, you know, and it goes to show when it comes to metal community, if you mix with the right people, they are good to be with, and it's good to be friends with for a long, long fucking time. And you know, it's a good point where as I just said in the beginning of the podcast, I've known you for quite a while, and I've known Andrew, Mark, and you know, it's been an absolute amazing to know you guys all the way through. You know, and you know, it's great to see that things are getting better, and with you guys, and I don't think we really need to touch on most of the stuff we need to talk about, but you know, it's great, and hopefully the next album is going to be a big stepping stone for you guys, and I'll be looking forward to it for damn sure.
For sure, thank you, man. I appreciate your support through the years too, dude.
Oh yeah, and especially when you guys came to play in the UK. That was back in 2013.
That's the one. Yeah, it was like 2014 at the.
I think it was 14. Yeah, and
that was
a good show.
Before.
Yeah, that was a good show. That was with Diamond at Abortion and Arcanius. That was a fucking decent lineup, and you know, that was the first time I saw Arcanius live and Diamond at Abortion live, and definitely you guys live as well. So that was like an amazing tour package. And
thanks.
The people that I used to be friends with or I known for quite a while, they get very jealous because they never seen you guys or anything like that before, and they see the tour package lineup of like the 2014 tour package that you three played. They get extremely jealous and want the same tour lineup, like they want this current timeline, and it's just it's tough as it is now because it's all about income. Where I'm just going to make it as the next topic that we're going to discuss now is basically the underground scenery is very, very difficult when it comes to making income, especially for promotions and bands in general, because mainstream media do not see the perspective when it comes to, like, let's say Metallica. Okay, I know Metallica are a big band. They got the money to fly. They got the money to travel. They got money for everything, basically. Even they get their own night in a hotel, for example, where
or Antarctica.
And you guys have got the struggle where you need to make sure you get a profit in the shows that you play night in, night out. You've got to make sure you sell all your tour merchandise. You've got to make sure you get the money back for the flying fees. And sleeping wise, if you're lucky, you can sleep in somebody's house for the night, or otherwise you have to sleep in the fan, which is bad enough as it is. And I just want to get people to understand the underground scenery is not all sunshine and rainbow as they think it could be, because there's always a dark side when it comes to those scenarios, especially when, you know, you guys can cripple with not getting any money from the tour, and you guys are going to struggle to make more touring, more music, and then people could be thinking, what's going on, you know?
Death metal's, it's a very DIY like ethic, you know. You're not really gonna, I mean, make anything from this. I mean, you do it all out of fucking for passion.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I've done that before, where I've had to quit jobs or lose jobs to go on a tour, and you know, save up as much as you can. You know, regardless, dude, I've done everything, playing in like a couple other bands where we've had to sleep in a kitchen, to where we sleep in the van, to where we got a hostel. So it all varies and depends on what you're doing at the moment. But
yeah, exactly.
It's true, man. It's, you know, don't expect to, you know, coast off of this for the rest of your fucking life. This is a very DIY passion, like very passionate, like you know, genre to be in. It's either you're in or you're fucking out, you know?
Yeah, it is. And the thing is now, as this question is going to be plugged in, when you guys have a local scenery in like Las Vegas or maybe in worldwide in America, has the scenery been great, or do you really think that there should have been a bigger scenery in the beginning when it comes to any Euro death metal or maybe death metal genre in Pacific, you know?
It's the Vegas scene is very slim to none. I mean, we do have, I mean, if you compare it to other places like, you know, Texas or California, up and down the state, it's, you know, band after fucking band. Vegas is, you know, it's only, I would say personally, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but
No, sure.
it's just a handful of bands that people know. So then what happens is they automatically loop us into those other states where they're just like, oh, you have this band, this band, this band. It's like, no, dude, there's at least like 5 total.
Yeah, and that's it.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and then that goes to where, like, you eventually end up getting to hang out, become friends with the other bands, and start jamming with the other bands. There's a very, like, the Vegas scene is very inbred, if we could put it like that.
Sure.
A lot of recycling members and different bands that form other bands. But I don't know. But we do have a good couple of bands out here that are holding their own and doing their thing, death metal wise. I mean, we got like Guttural Secrete, we got us, we got Cordyceps, The Pulse. We have like a little power violence thing, God's America.
Yeah.
There's another band, Genderfluids. It's we have like slowly but surely building underground scene coming out from here.
Yeah, and it does take time, but there's also a need to build that reputation to get a good scenery coming by locally. Like, it's so fucking difficult. Like, I try to go to shows locally in one of my hometown places, and the metal scenery for that is completely disappearing, like, big time. Wow. 10 years ago, it used to have shows, like, from the metal going on the scenery, like, let's put it this way. You get a good band here and there, like Carniflex played one time, Job for Cowboy played at one time, but then that was because these specific bands, even the Black Dahlia Murder, for example, all these bands played because they were big bands, and people got to go to these big band shows, and it's going to cost a lot of money, but then at the same time, it's kind of like worth it. But when it comes to like underground scenery, you're not going to make any money from it, and that's going to be the sacrifice you're going to have to make when you're a promoter. I know for a fact, vaguely, this remembered me about that 2014 show in London, Black Heart, where I think it was on a Monday, and there was not many people on that night. I think at least it was about 50 people. And you guys were definitely not going to make enough money, which it was. We all knew that, but it was a big loss for the promoter, which I can't remember who did it. I think it might have been Joe, but it
could have been. I think so.
I think it might have been Joe, and
Crepitation Joe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember that it was going to lose a lot of money because you're going to have to rent that venue for the night. You're going to have to pay for the bands. You're going to have to do this. You're going to have to do that, like I just mentioned earlier, and it all adds up, I'm afraid, and it all adds up to become a big loss if you don't make a profit from the shows.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to the UK, in my perspective, in London, you have got a good fan-based scenery, but I think when it comes to going to like Manchester, there's always a good scenery in Manchester. Scotland is cool. Liverpool, once upon a time, had a good scenery when it comes to death metal, but it kind of disappeared. But I don't think it's going to come back anytime soon. London, as I said earlier, it's okay, but only when the big bands come in, and then you're going to get a big crowd coming around. Like if you have Vader playing in, you get all the Polish fans coming around. You get all these death metal fans coming as well. So Vader's going to get recognized, even if they play within a £25 ticket sale. And it's just like, I have gone to those type of shows, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Trust me, I'd rather just go to like a £10 fucking underground scenery show, and just not worry about a £30 show. Those
are the best ones, man. The underground, more or less like the house show, underground kind of shit.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, because you're gonna get that good raw energy coming in when it comes to underground scenery music shows. And when it comes to the big overcrowded shows, it's good scenery, it's definitely good, and it's good population energy, but it's not the same. And it's definitely not the same when you see everyone we both know mutually, they will go to these underground shows. They're not going to go to these big shows. They're not going to be wanting to pay like £30 for like a show, or £20 for a show. They're going to be wanting to pay less as possible. But if it's like an all-day underground music festival, then you're going to bet your ass that they're going to be wanting to go there, and that's it. That's going to be the only good reason.
Yeah. It's more, you get more of those rare bands when it's more like the underground fest, like come out of hibernation and come play for the 3-day festival, which is cool. But I totally understand, like, you know, you'd rather go to an underground show than say like, you know, an obituary show that's coming through again, or, you know, there's more rules compared to those because of the venues and shit like that.
Yeah, I think as we're going to mention about the rules, obviously with this whole coronavirus shit, it's going to be coming through. I saw an article when it comes to shows. There's been some new policies and new rules because of this whole situation has been coming around now. They are predicting, and this is me quote unquote it, because they think it's going to be all rosy daisy in the next few months and people are allowed to go back to do their shows. There's some policies going around where people need to stay in their own 2-meter box, not interact with anybody, not try to touch with anybody, try to stay hygienic as possible. Like basically a line in the front, a line in the back, line to side. So it's kind of like your own box. Yeah, and you can't crowd surf, you can't do stage diving, you can't do any of that bullshit. You can probably
it sounds like a black metal show.
Yeah, and then you can cross your arms and you'd be like most people done in any show, just cross your arms and then just do nothing, you know.
Wow, it's gonna be a staring contest the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something I don't want to see. I think it will be an absolute depressing as fuck, you know.
Yeah.
It pisses me off that there are some people out there, the authority-wise or government-wise, thinking it's okay to let people think or consider that the shows can go back to normal with these new restrictions. I don't think so, because first of all, people are not going to be able to do what they want to do and have fucking fun. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Secondly, the bands are not going to have their energy. So all that energy coming from the fans, you know, getting routed and no crowd serving, no pit fighting, no this, no that, it's going to draw away much attention. And there's also been a rule, apparently, if it does happen, the unlimited capacity is likely to be cut down by at least half or more. So it's trying to reduce the mass gathering, which it's bullshit enough as it is, man. I don't like it.
It takes all the fun out of it. I mean, the whole point of playing live is just, you know, the band feeding off the crowd and vice versa. You know, the crowd feeding off the fucking band. And if you want to go there, I mean, wow, that'd be kind of weird to go to a show where you just see people standing, staring at each other and just not really doing anything. Yeah, but I hate that's going to be bad on the venues too, man. Because like you're going to have, a bunch of people drinking, doing drugs. Their favorite band goes on. They think they're just going to stand in a square.
Oh, that's going to be a problem. Big time.
You know, it's going to be a lot of problems, dude. I would wait. I would honestly wait to go see somebody. I mean, I don't see, shit, people can be doing like Skype live band sessions and might as well, you know what I mean, instead of playing live.
Yeah.
I would think like the ticket prices would go up more because it'd be so limited to go see your favorite band, you know?
I think that's what's going to happen if, like, say, the reduced capacity goes more than a half and you got all these restrictions coming into play, ticket prices are likely to go up. And then that's just going to draw people massively away, and people are not going to be wanting to do that shit. And surely people are going to be thinking about their health more than the priorities of making sure to go to see their favorite band, which the biggest opportunity you're likely to go to see them is in festivals. Because festivals, first of all, you've got most of the big chances of seeing like I saw you guys live in the festival, and that was one of the biggest chances I can see you guys, all like Dying Fetus and all the other bands, you know, for example. And that's the biggest opportunity you can when you go to like underground European festival. So shout out to Lucas and the Deafy's Open Air Festival, because they are doing their best to make sure this festival goes on.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be easy because obviously they need to speak to the local government, the authorities, about making sure that limited capacity can be acceptable and make sure the guidance are acceptable. And if that does happen, then fucking hell, that's going to be one big summer party for them, because, you know, many people are going to be wanting to go, and not everybody's going to do that, and that's going to be really, really bad, you know.
Yeah, Death Feast was very. That was such a big party, dude, for 3 days straight. So it'd be kind of hard. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if they're gonna have to get more security to make sure shit doesn't get out of hand, or people are like going by the guidelines, or how they're gonna do that. Because it was a fucking free for all, like, for 3 days straight last time we went.
Exactly.
It just was nonstop. Like, when we went camping out in the field, like, there was a fucking rave going on, like 2 tents down. Or, like, it was new to us. We're like, dude, these guys don't sleep. Like, it's just constant. It just never stops. But you know, like, these like new rules, and I don't know how good that's gonna do. You're kind of playing with fire with that shit.
You're going to. I agree. And
you know,
and pretty much, I'm going to ask: do you think the show's going to likely to be coming back in maybe 2022, for example, or do you think it's like that's going to be the realistic answer? Because I know people are already making shows for 2021. That's the rescheduled ones. So some of the shows that are going to happen later this year, they've been rescheduled to next year, which I think that's okay, because you're pitching yourself in a longer realistic time, which is not a problem. You know, I'm happy with that. And if, say, for example, Death Feast is not going to be happening, Lucas even stated that most of the bands will be happy to play next year. So it's kind of like you're not wasting your time and your money for something where it's going to be rescheduled. But for me, I think shows are likely to be cancelled all the way until next year at the latest, maybe summer period.
Yeah.
That's me being realistic.
I don't know. I think that's more or less people being optimistic and trying to see like a light at the end of the tunnel kind of view. Because it's like you were saying earlier, it takes a hit, or it takes a toll on you when all you have to do is rely on your music, your festivals, your touring. You're like, maybe this and this will happen in this X amount of time, you know? I don't think, personally, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah.
Because like I was telling you earlier, it's like, you know, how do you put a time frame on this? And I'd rather take precaution, like I was telling you, and just be safe, and just kind of throw like a festival where you think people might show up. And you don't know, someone who does show up might have it, you know? It's like putting people at risk, but I can see on their side where it's just like, you know, that's their livelihood. That's how they make a living. That's what they do. That's how they get around, you know? So
yeah, exactly. I mean, in being a band, you're gonna have sacrifices. You're gonna have disasters. You're gonna have these moments as well. Especially losing a lot of money, which that's unfortunately the underground scenery. And as my podcast is all about getting the idea, painting a picture about the underground scenery, is not just for the fan base to understand, it's also for the mainstream media, the label companies, these record dealers, these corporations, to see that bands do suffer in a long run. And, you know, it does suck big time, because we had, once upon a time, we had some decent, like death metal bands many years ago. They're gone. And some of them is obviously because it is just health reasons and, you know, band members splitting up. But it's also going to be the fact that many bands did not make the money they need to continue making music. And it fucking sucks, man. And like, I miss those certain type of bands, and I wish one time they would have come back. But it's not going to be an easy thing to fix, because all the damages has already been made. And how you can fix a cracked ceiling when it's already been cracked too many times, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's pretty good. Heavy, man. That was pretty good. I like that.
Thank you. So obviously we mentioned about the tours likely to be coming back maybe next year or maybe the year after. But let's just say, for example, as you mentioned just then, there's been some live streams going around for some bands to do some like live stream shows, which I think that's a big step forward for bands. I've seen Devin Townsend done one. I saw a band called Insomnian did one as well, so that was cool. There are bands that are actually taking the platform opportunity, especially with this whole internet thing going around, and especially when we got Zoom, when we got these other video conference calls, meetings, to actually try to interact with people much as possible. do you think at this moment of time, this is going to be the big step that we're going to need right now until this whole thing dies down? Because there's going to be no other reason of what else we can do.
You saying like the next move, as in like live entertainment?
Yeah.
Dude, I think it could possibly be an option. I mean, it's not going to be the same as saying going through like a live concert, and how we were saying before, getting like the same energy and passing it back and forth. But I don't know. I think I would be interested, and I would watch a live stream if someone was to post it. But if you start charging for that shit to like watch you play like a bunch of songs, I don't know if I'd pay that much to watch Zoom. Like, I don't know.
I wouldn't say pay extremely high. I would say maybe
if it was like a reasonable price.
I would say $5 per person.
That's not
because first of all, it would charge the internet bill, and secondly, it would pay most of your electricity bill that you need. If you get a big crowd base in one night, like let's say 12,000 fans are going to watch you guys play for one night, $5, you're going to make at least big money. And obviously, you guys are doing it at your own home, in your own comfort. You're actually being safe. You're not actually interacting with people in a big way. You're also just making sure the health and safety variety is a really important statement. And that can always be a big statement to show to other people that we can do this by being sensible and actually taking the alternatives, like doing online live stream shows.
Yeah.
And that can always be a...
You cut out. Hello?
Sorry about that. My microphone just cut off. It was pretty much unplugged. That's just embarrassing. Basically,
okay. We can edit. It's 2020. We can edit and do whatever the fuck.
Oh no, there's gonna be no extra takes. This is all gonna be like straightforward. So that's gonna be fun. It'll be all right. I mean, I'll be all right. I'll sacrifice my cup time. It's fine.
It's okay.
Get
over it.
Yeah, exactly. I think, as I just mentioned, this is going to be the big opportunity we need when it comes to staying at home. And this is going to be the most important thing we need. The biggest platforms of doing like live streaming shows and just doing something to interact with fans as much as possible. And this is the big way to interact with fans, in fact, actually, when most of them are actually staying at home. They've got nothing to do. They can't see their friends. What's the best thing they're going to do is actually go on YouTube, watch bands on their live old shows, sets, and try and stay occupied as possible. Because many people actually want to go to shows. They do want to see their friends. They actually want to do things like the normal way. But obviously, most of the stuff is being taken out of our hands until this whole thing dies down. So,
I think more or less I was coming across the whole, like, I've already seen the set like on YouTube. You want to pay for the same set again, or but like I said, I'm more stuck on. It's just like the whole live aspect of it. But I could see it could possibly go for, the next trend of what we're going to do for shows, or how many people are going to be limited into the group session, or however the fuck they would want to do it. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's weird, dude. It's like we're still all trying to figure it out and trying to see how to make this shit work around all this bullshit that's going on.
Oh, yeah, precisely. And especially when there are bands that are actually thinking about how are we going to do these things while we're at home. We've got all these tools, we've got all this opportunity, we might as well use it, and this would be the best way to start. And especially a big trending, especially when it comes to underground scenery, I think this would be the best opportunity for them to use to get a bit more exposure, to get more fans, and to actually keep interacting with the fans and just keep them occupied and make sure they stay at home much as possible. I mean, I know
until it's safe to come out and start booking shit.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is the only way it's going to work. I know many people may not like the idea, but this would be the wisest idea. Point period.
Yeah. Hey man, we would have to wait and see how how this shit would all work out.
Yeah, amen, man. I mean,
I had a hard look. How do you think I would feel? I had a hard time trying to figure out Zoom. Like, let alone I wouldn't know how to play,
yeah, I
play
know.
live on this shit. Yeah, I'd be like,
Yeah,
fuck.
that would
I'm
be
charging
very interesting.
how to make it work. Like,
You probably have to get like another tool for like the audio mixer, and obviously that's going to be like a big thing where maybe people need to sit down. People need to actually take the idea and just think about it, you know. But I know when it comes to Zoom, I've been told by a couple of people that I know they can pay a certain package where you can record the whole session with like multiple people, like let's say 4 of you guys do like a video session. You guys can actually do it that way. And some of it, yeah, it might overtake the audio, like let's say your drums are a bit more louder compared to Andrew's vocals. That's always going to be very tough audio mixer to mix. And I mean, that
it's a whole process, man.
It is a process, but the opportunity is golden. And I think people need to take an idea out of it. And I know there are some bands that actually want to take some interest out of it, but how it's going to work, we don't know. And it depends how patient the bands want to take and how long they want to wait to actually crack it open and say, okay, we can do this, we can do that, we can do this as well, and make it work.
You said Devin Townsend did a live stream. Like, how did that go? Was it like a full live band, or was it like 4 separate people doing it?
Fast far, I remember it was just him. He had like maybe he had an iPod like most people did in the old days when they had the one band death metal band. They used the drum tracking on the iPad or the iPod and just play through there. But Devin had most of his equipment by using computer, and you know he had all the equipment as well, so he has the money for it, and it sounded so decent, in fact.
Yeah.
And if I can ever find the footage or anything like that, which it might be somewhere, I'll hit you with a link, and you know you can look at it for yourself because it looked very decent, and many people are happy with it.
Nice.
And I think that would definitely be an idea, especially when it comes to like, again, a big opportunity for bands to keep the fans interested. That's for sure.
Right. I got you, man. Did he work with like his was it his solo stuff, or did he do like strapping shit or?
No strapping. It was definitely most of his solos. That's for sure. But I know for a fact he's not interested in strapping anymore. Like he's gone with it. Like he doesn't want to be the angry, druggy type of thing anymore. Like he's
I know he's all pretty and shit now, dude. What the fuck happened? I thought I could relate to him on some kind of level, and he got pretty, and I was like,
yeah, it is very different to see a one guy that was like not pretty, and now he's pretty. Like, fuck. But overall, I love Devin Townsend. I love his music. I love the fact that you know what he's done is a big step for his music career, and hopefully it stays this way for the rest of this time. And that's it. That's what I ask, you know.
Yeah, he has very original shit, man. But either clean side or strapping side or whatever, he's a one of a kind.
he definitely is, and you know many people love him. That's for damn sure. Touring wise, and this is gonna be the next question. What's been your favorite tour that you guys ever done? It could be festival, it could be shows, it could be, you can give me more than one answer. It could be multiple answers, you know?
Yeah, Papa Squat, dude. I got a couple. There's probably the first time we went to fucking Europe for the 2-week tour with Acranius and Dynamite Abortion.
Yeah.
Like fucking probably one of the best times of my life, dude. Yeah, it was cool. What was it, man? Like playing like especially like Berlin Death Fest. Berlin Death Fest is always fucking fun, dude. We played it twice. We did 2013 and 2014.
Yeah.
The first time we played in 2013, it wasn't really a tour. It was we got invited to go play.
Okay.
And that was it was the most nerve-wracking thing in my life and the funnest thing in my life because it was like a dream come true, you know? It was fun. Berlin Death Fest had really good shows, really good crowds. We did a 2-week, was it West Coast tour with Cordyceps? Like
Okay.
I think it was 2 years ago. That was fucking fun too. We got to play with a bunch of our favorite bands like Cephalotripsy and Stages of Decomposition, and just dude, it was partying for 2 weeks, dude.
Fucking decent.
Yeah, man. And then the last show we played was a Death Feast.
Death Feast, yeah.
That was fucking gnarly as fuck, dude. Mark and I used to fucking get drunk and watch Death Feast videos on YouTube, like when we first started. And we'd watch like, it was like Waking the Cadaver would play, and Condemned.
That one, yeah.
Cephalotripsy would play, and
Oh,
they're like, dude, how the fuck would it be to play that shit? And then was it like 10, 12 years later, we ended up fucking playing it. It was a dream
man,
come true.
I was just about to say, a big dream come true for any band that wants to play their favorite show, their favorite festival. They've done it, you know.
Yeah.
They don't need to do anything else. They don't need to actually do any more shows. They've done what they want. That's it. They can retire.
Yeah, that's it. We beat the pandemic. We beat all our shows. Holy shit! But no, it was Death Feast was a really good, like, that was an eye opener. I mean, we had some really good shows before, but that was like one of the cream of the crop, dude. Like, we played like Origin, the Black Dahlia Murder.
Yeah, that
Gudalax.
lineup, that whole lineup for the weekend was absolutely the best lineup I ever had to go to a festival, because it definitely had a mixture of what you want to listen to. It doesn't have to be a straightforward pure death metal. There was death metal. There was like party pooping, grindcore. You know, there's all that stuff, man. And that was the amazing thing to have. You've got to have that mixture of variety of gender to actually go to a festival. If you stick to one genre, it's just generic and it's just mediocre. You know.
Yeah, exactly, dude. They have a variety. You know, 3 days of the same sounding band would just, holy shit.
Basically, I should just said holy shit. It's just like boring, and that's it, man. You know.
Yeah, but it was dude. It was fucking really cool. Everybody was fucking nice. I have my cousin actually lives out there, so we actually had, she has a motorcycle shop, and she actually came out and stayed with us for the 3 days and took us around, and we had a really good time, man. It was, Death Feast was probably like one of the top favorite shows.
That's fucking cool, man. Like, that's great. That's a good story to have, because, you know, many bands will ask by fans, what's your been favorite shows, you know, what's been like the favorite place you've been going to, and you see this meme, for example, where, oh yeah, you guys get to see many favorite places, and you know, there's all these gas stations, restaurants, and roads, mountains, cars, lorries, and you get the idea. That's just being on the road all the time, and it's always nice to have like a little story for people to see, just to listen to and be like, that's fucking cool. I would like to go to that festival, go to that show, and get somewhat experience that these guys had to play, you know. And it's always a great accomplishment when it comes to, like I just said, for bands to actually play their favorite festival, their favorite show is a great to-do list to go for, and that's always been the best thing to do, man. So kudos to that. Yeah,
man, thank you. This was a good time.
So obviously now with Cerebral in this whole hibernation with this pandemic going around, has there been any new music going to be playing at the moment, or are you guys just staying quiet until this whole thing just stops, and then you guys can go back into seeing each other, you know, do some writing and so on and so forth?
Yeah. Okay. Well, recently we actually had our first practice last week, and we're actually going to write an EP, like a 4 to 5 song EP for another release. I don't think it'd be so much a full length. No. We have one song already like in like the beginning stages. It's all the way done, but there's still like shit we can go back and kind of fix. So like we're kind of like in the writing process right now. So and it's just like right when we get back into like the rhythm of things, it's like all this bullshit happens, and then it kind of puts like a standstill to everything. So I mean, it was a couple months before we all jammed together. I don't think we have jammed like in a minute, but we're slowly getting back to like the routine, and You know, not trying to do it as much, but trying to have some sort of a consistency to hopefully release this thing soon.
Yeah, of course, you got to have some consistency just to make sure it just works, and especially just having just like one session every 2-3 months and just keep it going. Just make sure people are aware what this new type of things are going, and just if you're doing new shows, it's in your mind and you just keep it in there instead of just trying to be like in the last minute just to play show. How do I play this shit? You know, and it's just like, I'm sure that's always been like a disaster for you guys when it comes to touring as well. Like just trying to remember specific songs to play, and just obviously on the road moments where, let's just say, a vehicle breakdown, and you know, it's always a bad thing to overcome sometimes.
Yeah, it can be. We had like one funny incident. I think the last time we did Death Feast. I think Andrew had to leave. Andrew caught a separate flight, so he had to leave before us. So Mark, Nico, myself, and my cousin were going back to my cousin's house. It's like a different part of Germany, where the fuck it was.
Sure.
And I was laying in the back, and I popped my head up, and the fucking cops pulled us over.
Okay.
And we had like shit on us. So we're all kind of So we were kind of fucking nervous, and then the fucking cop pulled us over, gave us like a good lecture of saying like, you know, people die doing the things you do, which I didn't just have my fucking seatbelt on. And he made me and Mark take a train to my cousin's town or whatever, and my cousin and Nico took off. So that was like one of the stories like where me and him kind of like joke about, but dude, we panicked so fucking hard because we had no fucking clue where we're going.
Especially if you don't know where you guys are going, and then it's just like, dude, fuck.
Yeah, I said the train was going this way. We fucking flew that way. We started
fucking hell, man.
Yeah, we started dry heaving pretty hard, but well, we got there, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you guys got there. At least you guys enjoyed Germany while you did, and let not be the last time as well. And you know, try to come back much as you can, and
dude,
you know, it'll be cool.
We always look forward to Europe, and Germany especially is cool. And you know, it's always a good time. It's always a fucking party the whole time. It's cool.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I know many fans would just love to go to Europe. I mean, for me, I would love to go to live in Europe and actually go to like European shows, because there's always a good scenery in Europe compared to UK, even though apparently UK is still in the EU, which I don't know what all that bullshit is about, but I don't think we are.
Which part of Europe would you want to live in?
I would love to live in Germany. Definitely Germany. Cool. Yeah. If not Germany, maybe fucking hell, maybe Switzerland might be a cool idea to go to as well.
Switzerland's cool.
Yeah, but I have other ideas. Maybe I want to go live in Canada, or you know, because there's a lot of people I know starting to know now, and they live in Canada. So it's like there's a lot of metalheads, exactly, and it'll be worth for me to go and live there and actually interact with people that have the same music interests, and you know, just keep interested with them, and that would be so cool. But obviously, some life can take absolute risk, and you gotta make sure you have the right plan. Otherwise, if you just go out of the blue and just expecting everything in front of you, not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
There's gotta be some sort of planning before you just up and leave to another country, you know. Hopefully you somewhat got your shit together.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's for me.
You just don't want to pop up in Canada and be like, yeah, hey, I'm here. Like, where's the shows?
Okay, I'm here. What am I gonna do now? Fuck.
Yeah, when's D-side coming? Like,
but no, my plan is just basically save as much money as I can, try to get myself a house in, and on the sharing ownership scheme, and just go with that. Try and make more money in the possible future. Try and cover the mortgage. Obviously, that's going to be a lot of money, but it's
doable, man. It's possible.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But you got to play your cards right, and this is where I've got to sacrifice much of my social life as possible, just to make sure I got enough money coming through, and just to make sure I keep myself active. Where I've mentioned on my last podcast, obviously the gyms are shut, and I normally go to the gym and try to keep myself active as much as possible. But I've got a bike coming through next week or this week, so I'm trying to keep myself active as much as possible while the gym is actually not open. So have the bike and have the gyms open again. I'm not going to try and go to many shows as I can until I got all that money sorted, because I got another 2 years and then I got to leave where I'm currently living. Yeah. So I've got a picture in my mind of what I need to do. It's just I need to execute it and make sure I've got as much money as possible, you know. And you got to have that ambition to make sure you get what you want. And it's hard, and I'm sure it's hard where I'm sure in America's housing is so expensive, and I'm sure it's not cheap. And especially trying to live there for like a renting a house for 1 bedroom or something is just expensive as it is.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I think it's totally possible. You can do what you want with that shit and just save up, and you know, you can get to where you need to go. It's just the part, just taking the time to fucking actually do it. That's the part that sucks, because it can take forever.
Oh,
you know, you don't know how long these things can take, and I don't think there's any shows happening anytime soon. So
no, but I
think now is the time to start planning, Josh. You got it. You do this shit.
But I know for a fact I'm doing this whole podcast not just for a hobby, but maybe for a career changing, and that would be a very, very big change in my life as well. Because not only I'm trying to interact with people like yourself or any other people I'm currently interviewing, or maybe the people I'm going to be interviewing in the future, it's also trying to experience change into my communication with my autism spectrum. It's trying to understand much more possible with the underground scenery, which I have, but it's for people that don't understand. So I'm trying to give them a picture on the painting that this is not the easy thing. This is all hard. This is real. This is not like a fantasy, you know, and people need to understand it. And
so you're like stepping out of like your comfort zone, pretty much.
Exactly. And
yeah. Kudos, dude. That's a big move on your part. So
yeah, I mean, I had to think about that for the past month, but I thought I got nothing to lose, and if I get something out of it, then it'll be an absolute blessing to do it, because I actually took the opportunity in front of me and be like, I done it. That's all I want to do. And then maybe I can start making a business of selling my own fruit and vegetables when I get my own garden, you know.
Dude, you're going for the hermit life, man. Fuck it. Dude, same. I'm kind of a little socially like when you told me to do this, like I was like, oh, this is cool. I want to do it. And then I got a little nervous because now I feel like I'm on like the job interview I should have had where I Skype. I feel like I'm talking back and forth where I have to like be like, fuck, don't fuck this up. Or,
yeah.
You know, I mean, but like at the same.
Sorry. No, you carry on.
My bad. But you know, like you said, just fuck it, have a good time. I mean, I'm not having a bad time at all. So
no, I mean,
hats off to you, dude, for doing that. That's pretty cool.
I mean, I appreciate it. It's also trying to overcome my, what's the word I'm looking for? It's just basically not to try to feel uncomfortable with my comfort zone. And because obviously I get anxiety, mental health is obviously going to be a big thing for everybody's lives. And it's going to be something that is not going to be disappearing anytime soon. You know, it's always going to be with you every single day in your life. And you've got to try and make sure you do something while you've still got it and maybe overcome it. And many people can do it. And this is something I want to try and do, is overcome my overall perspective of mental health and try to achieve things in the long run. And this is actually a good opportunity to, you know, just to plug in that everybody's got an opportunity to do what they want to do. And if people have the ambition, they have the positive attitude, they can go a long way. And they have the right mindset, they can go a long way as well. So if everybody, where apparently this is like the mental health week, I know for a fact everyone should be supporting each other each day and, you know, trying to be there for everybody, trying to communicate with people who are struggling. Just do things that you love to do. Just keep yourself self-caring yourself, try and support yourself. Just make sure you don't get yourself into bad situations. just try and keep yourself positive as much as possible. Just stick with people that actually give you the right mindset as well, give you the right positive attitude, because it takes you a long fucking way, man, and it actually helps you in the long run. That's for damn sure. And I think in the right time, this is why I've got good friends in my life where they will give me the criticism, they will give me the feedback, but also at work in the mindset that I'm actually staying focused while I'm trying to, in a way, keep focusing on my job, even if I have fun with my colleagues, even if I have a thing for a colleague that I like, I try and stay focused and just making sure it's all in a positive mind frame and not trying to deflect myself in a negative way and trying to ruin myself in a negative perspective. And
dude.
it's, you know, it takes a
you're
long
just you're learning to learning to cope with it. And day by day, that's all you can do, man. Is, you know, you can't think too far ahead, and you don't want to stay in the fucking past and think about the past. You know, just
no, absolutely not.
Where you're at now is just taking it day by day, dude. And it's you got a good structure, dude. You know what I mean? Like, you're working out, you're doing your podcast, you know, you're making moves and shit, which is good. Usually people just, you know, they psych themselves out before they can even do half of what you're fucking doing. You know, so I mean, you're working past that, and you're just, you know, progressing. That's what everyone should be doing, is just take the time and just try to progress and become.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I appreciate
step out of
that,
their comfort zones.
Yeah, it's absolutely. I appreciate that shit, you know, and I appreciate the fact that people say that shit, because, you know, it gives me a very positive mind frame, because I try to do that much as I can, trying to please people, but it became a very, very hard thing to try and do. And I started to understand that you're not going to please everybody. You have to please yourself before you can actually get the respect and the recognition by people as well.
Yeah, dude. That's for sure. You have to love yourself first before you start handing that shit out.
Oh yeah, amen to that shit. That's for sure.
Just, you know, you gotta take care of yourself first, dude.
Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely.
It's a good move, dude. You're going in like the right direction. Everything's it's a good start, bro.
Maybe the direction I should take is try and be a president of the United States of America, and then just go from there. But I think that's gonna be a far fetch.
Give me a car, man. I want a car.
Fucking
brand new car and some cheap rent. Fuck it, dude.
Oh yeah, I'll go for like a cheap Rolex, and, you know, I'll try to go for a cheap suit. But who knows?
Pawn shop style. Yeah, pawn shop.
Oh hell yeah, man. That's the America way. That's for sure.
Hell yeah, dude. Was that who's in the background? Is that splattered, or is that this
splattered? Yeah, it's splattered. Yeah.
Okay. I was trying to figure out which one was.
Yeah, I worked a little bit today with the background, but I can also do other bands' artworks and stuff. Like, I did a little bit with Cerebral as well.
Oh shit!
So literally, I've done it just now.
Oh,
so it's like, you know, it's interesting. That's technology now.
I would just be staring over your shoulder the whole time. I think if you had it.
I mean,
I think last time I saw it, you posted something, or I think it was the Waking Cadaver guy. Like, you were like in space or something.
Yeah, that one. Hang on a second. This one.
There you go.
Mate, technology always becomes the best thing in everybody's life. Like, I saw an interview.
Throw a concert right now, bro. Start bust out the pans.
Oh hell yeah, hell yeah. I saw an interview that Joe Rogan did, and he interviewed himself, and it was just like he's interviewing his twin, and it's just like, fucking hell, he's talking about weed and everything, and it's all crazy, man. It's funny shit, dude. And honestly, I like shit like that.
Yeah. I can get on some Joe Rogan stuff, but it's
Joe Rogan is really a cool podcaster to listen to, and he's got a lot of things he talks about. He also spoke about Mike Tyson coming back into boxing, and, you know, I thought that was cool.
Wait, recently? That's recent.
Yeah, it's on Instagram. Tyson did a sparring with his partner, and he's back, and I was like, oh shit.
How are you gonna make a comeback in the pandemic? That doesn't.
I think the way he's.
You can't touch anybody. What the fuck?
I think the way it's happening.
I'm sparring
is,
fucking coronavirus right now. What the fuck?
hey, if
Hey.
it makes money, it makes money, man. You know,
Hey,
that's
yeah,
the way it
exactly.
works.
That's all.
That's the boxing way, I'm afraid. But I think what he's doing literally is you know, at 53 years old, it's fair play to him. You know, if he wants to carry on, that's fine. But many people are
Dude.
saying it might ruin his legacy, which is questionable, I suppose. But it depends.
Nah. I think like you said, if he's got it, dude, I still wouldn't want to get punched by Mike Tyson, even though he's old now. Like,
Yeah.
even after like all the pigeons and face tattoo, like I wouldn't want to get hit by that motherfucker. So I think he'd
No.
still make a comeback. Fuck it.
Nah. I mean, I would definitely support Tyson with what he does. But yeah, on his Instagram, it mentioned that he did his training with his sparring partner, and he said he's back. And I thought that's very interesting. But the question is going to be, who's he going to be boxing when this whole thing comes back into play? Because it's going to be questionable.
Yeah, who knows how long that can be before he starts actually doing some fucking fights, man.
I know, and that's going to be the question part. But yeah, I think unless we got anything else we want to discuss, we will maybe finish it soon.
Yeah, it's up to you, dude. I'm following your lead, bro.
Yeah, and I know it's going to be a very interesting thing to keep up if I don't have anything else to say.
Okay, let me ask you something. Do you have a band, or have you played in bands before?
A band? No. I try to practice folk as much as I can, like Andrews, but it's kind of like I'm not a caveman spectrum, but you know, I know that I try my best. But I did have a vocals once upon a time, but I think because I'm getting a bit more older, and the stuff in my throat is kind of like blocking the whole vocal box. So it's kind of like fucking it up really badly. So,
oh shit.
Yeah, it's not
for like other instruments or anything, like guitar, bass, or.
I had a guitar once upon a time. It was not like it was a bad experience, but I think I didn't have the patience for it. And drumming, I have got drumsticks from other bands that they gave it to me, and you know, just kept it as a signature collection. And I got like pillows from the chair, and I just use it just to be like, just play along with it, and that's it, you know.
Yeah.
Like if it was air drumming, for example. I mean, I've got the biggest kit if I do air drumming. Right?
Oh, dude, I gotta use the smallest. I prefer the smaller ones over the big ass Neil Peart kits.
Yeah, do you prefer the smaller kit then? If so, why do you prefer the smaller kit?
I actually do prefer like a 4-piece standard like small kit, because it kind of forces you to be a little more creative than having all your toms right there and all your cymbals right there. What can you do with like a 4-piece kit, a ride and a crash, you know? I always looked up to drummers like, was it like Zach Hill, where he just had the most minimal kit he had ever, but he made it sound like he was playing like a gigantic drum set. But this guy was just using the creativity that he had to kind of force it out of this little tiny kit. So I actually prefer smaller kits. I think that's like probably like for me, like my worst nightmare is when you go to like a festival and this drummer has like a fucking, like a Neil Peart kit, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like, the sound guy's gonna hate me because I start taking shit apart, and he's looking at me like I just, you know, like I'm just going out of my way to be a dickhead. Like,
I mean, in a way, it's all about just staying in your own comfort zone. If a 4-piece it makes you feel comfortable, you can't just like criticize that person just to have a 4-piece instead of like a 12-piece, you know?
Yeah.
And
I mean, if you could use, it just depends. Like if you can use the fucking 12-piece, man, do it. It's just like I've been to a lot of, you know, a couple shows where someone has this huge kit and they're just doing like little AC/DC beats or something. It's like, oh, come on, man.
I know. it is so fucking corny. It's so bad, man. Like I do see people use big kits, and it's like, oh, you're just gonna do a couple of beats. That's it. You're not gonna do anything spectacular like Joey Jordan sometimes does when he plays with Slipknot, plays with a fucking drum solo on top of the other side of the fucking.
Did you see that? Did you go to that? Have you seen them do that?
There was a footage of the London show, and
did you go to that show?
No. No, I
Damn
didn't
it.
know. I didn't know Slipknot at the time, and I
No.
was still like, I think I was 10, and
Yeah.
it was basically he did this whole thing. I thought drummers that do stuff like that, it takes a high risk, but it's also a very cool thing to do as well.
Yeah.
And I always looked up to drummers like that, and I thought that's always a spectacular thing to do. Like it's pure entertainment.
Yeah.
But I also love to listen to like drum solo beats or maybe like bass solos like Jason Newsted did when it was, what was it, 1989 in the Mexico show that Metallica did.
Oh
And,
shit.
you know, it was to live and is to die, kind of like a long intro. I don't know if you saw the video of it, but they basically, Metallica did like they did a long set video, full set, mind you. It was like Jason Newsted did a bass solo. It was kind of like representing Cliff Burton, and it was kind of like a big piece of tribute, and I thought that was fucking awesome.
That's rad, dude. You have to send that to me. So I have to check that out. That'd
Absolutely,
be
man. You know, I'm definitely I'm more than happy to keep people interactive and, you know, try and keep people attached with like these things I look up into, and, you know, I always like shit like that.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is going to be it, but we're going to have the opportunity where we can do some plug-in shout-outs for anybody that has recommendations to listen to, like new bands they have not listened to the underground scenery before.
Oh,
I
man.
know it's a little bit far-fetched because when it comes to underground scenery, many people be like, oh, I have heard of this band before this, I've heard of this band before that, and it's like, give me something fucking new, you know. I'm like, there's not much I can do, you know. I can give you but Maradona, I can give you Pink, I can give you, you know,
What the fuck is Pink doing? I haven't heard that. That bitch hasn't done anything in a while, dude.
Pink, yeah, it's like I can give them Britney Spears if I wanted to, but, you know, I want to keep it fucking to this topic. But Pink is basically was like years and years ago in my teenage years, man. It was just like she was one of those pop artists, and I thought, Pink. Fucking hell, what was the name all about, you know?
Yeah, I think Pink is like a Hooters waitress now somewhere. I haven't heard anywhere from her in a while, dude.
No, I think she disappeared. But basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the opportunity first to give anybody the recommendations. And after today, well, it's going to be 12 o'clock, so I'm going to hit the bed after this. It's done.
Oh, shit, you're up late, man.
Yeah. It's cool because, you know, I've got a late session tomorrow, but I'll be more than happy if you give me a list after this is done, and then I can just copy the band's names and the links so people can listen to, go and follow them, and on whether it's Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or whatever, just to keep them, you know, an idea of where to find these bands, and, you know, to give them a couple of listens if they have not heard of them before. So yeah, I'm going to give you the platform. What can you say, my friend?
Hello, Joshua Files people. I recommend that you guys check out these people. Bloodscribe from LA. Check out Parasitic Ejaculation, Logistic Slaughter from Northern California. Splattered is another good band.
Shout out to them.
Yeah. Who else, man? Gorchwearing. I don't think they're as active anymore, but they were one of the first bands that we started with, and we played all these festivals with and grew to like know each other. Pencil at Syringe. Shit, man. Local dudes here. My good friend, I used to play drums in a power violence grind band called God's America. And my homie Andreas, he's a bunch of other bands. Was it Giant Snow, Genderfluid?
Yeah. I think it was Genderfluid was definitely one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like doomy, soundery, like kind of like it has like a bolt thrower kind of feel to it. But yeah, that guy's jack of all trades, man. Fuck, I wish I would have. There's a couple more bands, man. I'm trying to think.
I'll definitely give a shout out mention to Splattered. Definitely.
Yeah, dude, those guys. We fucking started with those dudes, fucking way back when they drinking buddies, man. We got splattered. We all got splattered. That's what we got. But yeah, any of those bands, Stages of Decomposition, Let's do say Cordyceps, the Pulse from Las Vegas. Fuck, dude. There's a couple other fucking bands I'm slipping on right now, but
Yeah.
if I forgot your guys' name, fuck you. Sorry. Like, you know I love you. Stop it. Yeah, I don't know. That's all I can think off the top of my head right now.
No, that's perfect. Cool. I mean, if you got any more, you can just leave it in the message, and I just hit it down, and that can be done as well.
Sure,
that could always definitely work. So if it's definitely done, I'll give my shout outs, and then we will hit this up. So I like to do a first shout out to Abnormal Inhuman. I know they're a very death metal band, and they got an album called Consuming the Infinity. Go and listen to that shit if you have not heard of it before. It's definitely cool.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's definitely very heavy. And are you friends with what's his name? Clayton Medini? I think that's his last name. Right? Yeah. The drummer from Abnormal Inhumanity, they're playing together into Clayton's own band. So it's kind of like his.
Did he fill in for like drums? I think it was like the Pulse or some shit.
Yeah, that one.
I don't think I've ever met that guy, but I know he did come out and
Deposed or
did a tour and shit.
Yeah, that one. That's a fucking cool band as well. So shout out to Deposed as well. Clayton is a fucking nasty vocalist. He's really cool. And
he's a cool dude too.
He's really cool, and he is the biggest dude when it comes to collection on merchandise. I am fucking jealous of Clayton. Yeah. Clayton, if you're watching this, fuck you for collection, but I fucking love you too.
He's got extras of extras of extras of extras and shit.
Oh yeah, like, fucking flabbergasted on how he's managed to get all those types of merchandise, man.
I know. Ridiculous. I'm like, dude, I'm in the fucking band. I don't even have that. Like, what the fuck? Where did you get that? Like,
fucking hell, man. It's crazy, man, how someone can collect so much of merchandise. Like, I would be happy to collect like tons of T-shirts, but I've been getting rid of them because like I got no more space in my wardrobe, and people have been buying my merch. Like, I've got the money for it, so it's like it's a win-win type of situation,
Yeah, but there's a couple more bands I thought of.
Yeah, go for it, bro.
Guttural Secrete, I forgot those guys. Foul Deformity, which is actually Bruno from Guttural Secretes, and this dude Alex. He plays drums, really good fucking drummer. They're another band in progress. Implements of Hell. Because he started talking about Clayton, I started thinking about like all the merch and shit like that now. Dude. Yeah, I think I maxed out right there. Sorry. Decomposition. We started out with There's Decomposition that we used to jam with back in the day from, was it like 2008, 2009? I don't think they're around anymore, but they're like one of the few bands that would really come through, and we'd all, play shows and go out of state and party with and shit.
Oh, hell yeah. That definitely sounds a fun experience, and I wish I could be there to actually.
Hey, man. Eventually things will go back to normal, so we'll hopefully have a beer sometime, or
yeah, fingers
you'll be over here or whatever, dude. So
yeah, I am.
Come to America, we'll get you fat, dude.
Mate, I'm trying to stay active. I'm trying to stay healthy.
No. You didn't get fat. Come over here.
Right. Well, I the only problem is I'm vegan, so
we'll find a way. I'll find something out.
That's completely fine then. Fuck it.
Yeah. Gluten-free vegan beer or something.
Something like that. I have been drinking like IPA beers, so maybe something like that perhaps.
Sounds good, man.
Sweet. So back to shout mentions. I'd like to do another shout to Cow Decapitation. The ironic sign that they did an album called Death Atlas, and basically they did a song called Bring Back the Plague. I think it's ironic that this whole plague has actually come back into the world, and it's fucking funny. But
we got jinxed.
Yeah, I mean,
they jinxed us.
They done it. They fucking done it, man. Like, I don't know how they fucking done it, but they done it, and it was so fucking funny in the beginning, and now they could look back at it when they retire and be like, that's fucking funny.
Yeah, it sounds cool as a song title, but when it actually happens, it's not that cool.
No, of course not. But they did a music video of it actually, and it was like, that is the funniest shit ever. And,
I have to
Yeah,
check this shit
absolutely.
out.
Oh, absolutely. They done a music video for it, and as soon as you see it, you fucking love it. Honestly, I'd like to do another shout out to Defeat Sanity. Fucking heavy. And they got a new album coming out in July the 24th.
Oh shit!
Yep, it's not gonna be that far away, and I think it's gonna be cool to actually hear what the rest of the album's gonna be like. They
Yeah.
did it. They did a single track called "Propelled into the Security," so it's kind of like it's really heavy. And Leo, the drummer, actually did the guitar tracks for this song as well. So apparently he did the guitars tracks for this new album as well. So fair play to fucking Neil. You're fucking crazy, dude. Honestly, like I don't know how you do it, man. Honestly,
Yeah, that fucking guy is
he's fucking master.
drums and guitar. It's just like either most of the time it's usually one or the other. But the guy's
Oh man,
it's
it's
crazy
insane,
shit.
man. It's pure insane how someone could do
Yeah.
that shit. You know.
Lila is like one of the coolest dudes I've ever fucking met. He's a very nice, funny dude. So
Amen, man.
all the other guys too, independent.
Oh
Damn,
yeah,
Josh,
absolutely.
you're hitting up more people that I should be calling out than I should actually be calling out. Like you're saying defeated, I'm like, yeah, that one too. So,
That one
like,
too. That one as well. Yeah, that one as
cool.
well. Another shout out to Disentombed, all the way from Australia, and you know they're fucking awesome. I have seen them live, and they're fucking heavy live. Shout out to Flexstation on Suffering. They have got an album that's been out for a couple of years called Confined into Obscurity. It's fucking heavy. If you haven't heard of that before, so Flexstation on Suffering is a very good band. I definitely would recommend it. Images of Violence. I don't know how long ago this album was out, but oh shit, this has been out basically 2013. The album is called Rephenitence. It's very heavy, and I can just say it's just heavy as fuck, man. I would definitely recommend it. I'm just gonna go here quickly. Ingested, fucking cool. I've got an interview session with Sam on Saturday night. If anybody is watching this and they want to listen to Sam's interview, it will be on Saturday night, and I will definitely upload on the Saturday evening so people can actually listen to it as well. So Ingested, everybody. Fucking hell, I'm gonna give another 2 more shout outs. Origin, because they're fast, they're brutal, they're heavy, they're fucking cool. John, the drummer, is fucking technical as fuck. He's really fast, but
dude,
you know, I fucking love it.
Fucking blast beats, man.
Oh man, I know. I've heard this podcast with Mike McGinty from Cryptopsy from Box and Harps that you know, he does his practice nearly every day on certain blast beats, and you know the technique needs to be crisp as fuck, and you know it's like that's the definition when it comes to brutal death metal. You've got to have that perfection when it comes to blast beats.
Yeah.
And one more shout out, Visceral Disgorge. Visceral Disgorge are fucking heavy, and I think that's the pure definition of heaviness, you know. And they did an album, well, a remastering album called Ingesting Putridity, and basically it's fast compared to the original, but you can hear most of instruments and Travis's vocals very clearly. Visceral Disgorge, everyone. And if anybody has not done this yet, leave a like, leave a subscription on this YouTube page, leave a comment for any criticism or feedback. You know, those mean so much to me. Definitely leave a like on my Facebook page if you have not done that as well. I definitely would love the support. And if anybody has been watching this and listening to this, thank you very much, because this is the end of the podcast. Ricky, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the podcast, man. Like, I love catching up with you. Like, we do message pretty much every day just to keep up with each other. But, you know, something like this needed to happen because it's been fucking overdue. Especially since the last time, well, we kind of interacted with that Death Feast. but we didn't have a proper chat since then, and this is needed to be really, really prioritized type of thing,
Yeah, dude. Thank you for having me and asking me to do this, dude. I really do appreciate it, and I appreciate the support. I appreciate the support you've given us too through the years, man. I really do.
Hey, man. At the end of the day, I'm more than happy to support any bands that they deserve the opportunity. And if I was a record company, I'll fucking hit you guys all the way through. And any other bands that do deserve the opportunity, they need it, because I remember like there were so many bands that deserved this opportunity and they never got it, and it kind of sucks,
Yeah, there's a lot of hidden gems out there, man. A lot of good underground shit that should be more out there and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. But pretty much the only question I've got left before we actually really, really have to go.
Go on.
This is pretty much going to be a very, very common message that people probably have asked before. Your second album, Gonorrhea Nodule Mastication, is not on media stream. It's not on Bandcamp. No. It's not on Spotify. Who's responsible for this? Is it Mark?
Oh. This is an Andrew and Mark question, dude.
Man.
Like I said, dude, I had a hard time getting on Zoom, so I don't know if I can answer a Spotify question.
Because
I've heard about that. I've heard people say like it's not like on whatever platform, and we're trying to get like CDs right now. We're actually trying to get another restock of Gonorrhea CDs. That doesn't sound too gross, but yeah, dude, I have no fucking clue what happened with the whole Spotify, the platform thing with the second album. So yeah, dude, see, look, I fucked it up. This should be an Andrew or Mark question.
I mean, I definitely wanted to get Andrew on here, but he was on his honeymoon, and I was like, I can't disrupt him with his honeymoon. And I'm sure Mark, okay, you might have, but I would not, man. That man
had at the door, dude. I'd have been like, "Hey guys, knock it off. Let's get to work here."
I said to him, I would message him back a few weeks later. And Andrew, if you definitely are watching this, hit me up. Yeah, we definitely need to have this message, man. We definitely were supposed to have it. But I was being respectful. I let you have your honeymoon. I would let you have your time off.
Fuck that shit. Come do this shit right now, Andrew. I'll bring him over right now, dude. You can stay up for another 2 hours. You're calling out tomorrow.
Oh, Jesus Christ, bro.
Call out tomorrow, bro.
I mean, I do like shifts, so I don't really
essential workers need breaks too, man. Fuck it. Call out.
I mean, it's not essential, that's for sure. If I'm working my fucking neck to do this job, it's not like ideal. But
dude,
it's
same,
work.
Bro. Same.
It's work.
It's work. I don't feel essential as fuck, but I got something to do. So.
Okay, so basically, I would just ask: would you prefer to be at home, or would you just be like, I just work and that's it? Because I understand there's many people are on, let's just say, an extra step back of like 80% cut. Well, it's not 80% cut, but it's like a 20% cut. You only got 80% profit of the wages every month. It's like,
yeah, dude, there's people that are on unemployment now here that are making more than what I do. I've been working through this whole fucking thing, so it's like people that are unemployed are collecting unemployment, making more shit compared to whereas I've been having a consistent full-time job, still not making shit.
Honestly,
I wish I was kind of unemployed right now.
Dude, honestly, it pisses me off because all I see at the moment outside my neighborhoods, it's just like there's many people on Faro, which if they're on Faro, that's fine. But most people are on like universal credit scheme, they're on like housing benefit scheme, and it's just like, why do I fucking bother? I'm paying tax, I'm paying just actually stay alive, trying to keep a roof over my head. Yeah, and it's just, it fucking sucks, man. Like I'm tired of it, but there's not much you can do about it. Sometimes you have to see the bigger picture that you're actually being responsible, you're actually being more reliable in your life, and you're actually being more independable in your life, And sometimes you have to take the shit to actually make it like you can push on from the shit.
Yeah, you gotta go through it.
Getting,
For sure. Yeah, for sure. You have to fucking go through it to learn from it, instead of trying to sit around trying to figure shit out. But, I don't know, dude. It's kind of 50-50. I'm glad I have a job because it kind of keeps things somewhat normal because it's just like a routine.
Yeah.
And then there's times where, like where I told you before, where it gets like overwhelming and you just don't want to fucking do shit because there's so much going on. So I don't know. It's kind of a roller coaster, but
it's like a
I don't mind.
seesaw. It's kind of like a seesaw domino. You know, you just want to do one thing after another. You want to stay on the seat to actually do something, but then you want to get off the seat if things don't go right. You know, and it's bullshit.
Yeah. We'll get through it, man. We'll be fucking drunk at Death Feast in no time. So.
Oh yeah, we definitely will. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, everybody, thank you very much for staying on and listening to the podcast. I really appreciate it. If anybody does have the free time while they got nothing to do, they are more than welcome to give me a message and be like, "Yo, I want to interview. Hit me up," and I'll be like, "All right, let's do something about it." But yeah, definitely. I appreciate everybody taking the time to listen, and I appreciate Ricky to be on the podcast. You know, I appreciate everybody that's had the opportunity to say yes. I would do an interview with you. It'd be an honor. I mean, it's more of an honor for me because I'm doing interviews with my best friends and some guys that I've listened to for many fucking years. But the next episode that's going to be on the podcast on YouTube, it'll be on Thursday. And yeah, if everybody's going to be wanting to listen to that, be ready for that because it's going to be Wendalo from Technopath that plays What Within Your Life, and he is a very cool dude. He will have some like a variety of genre music list that he can mention about things. But yeah, that's for Thursday. So until then, thank you very much, guys. And Ricky, thank you very much.
Cheers, dude.
Appreciate it.